So we're about 70 miles or so up the M6 from Stoke to the City of Manchester Stadium for the second of our two live matches this Super Sunday. Live in high definition and 3D, it's Manchester City against Arsenal. United's 3 points at Stoke take them second. They're 5 points adrift of the champions. City down a place, but of course have this match in hand. West Brom and Tottenham both falling in place today. So to Arsenal, but all that can change very quickly. David Silva starts for Manchester City today. Came on and got that fabulous goal at Blackpool, of course, last week. Yaya Toure missed that match. He's another starter for them. No place for Emmanuel Adebayor, despite 3 in the Europa League on Thursday night. He's amongst the substitutes. And we might just get a look at Mario Balotelli today, because he too is named as a sub. And starting his first league game for Arsenal in 5 weeks is their skipper, Cesc Fabregas. Ruud Gullit and Jamie Redknapp are here. Before we talk, let's hear from both managers this afternoon.
Roberto, what was Emmanuel Adebayor's reaction?
This is a fascinating match, isn't it?
It is, because it's good for the Premier League itself that Manchester City is also a team that now wants to contest also for the Premiership. It's good for Chelsea, it's good for Man United, and it's good for Arsenal. So they have to be more on their toes. It's not only these 3 clubs that are trying to win it, but there's more. So therefore, I'm just to see today how Arsenal is coping with it, because we expect every year always more of Arsenal. There's a new kid on the block, and so therefore we're going to see if they really want it this year.
Word on Yaya Toure. You told us midweek in the Champions League that maybe there were reasons at home to leave him out of the national team other than the challenge.
De Jong.
Yeah, sorry, De Jong.
Yes. Now, you know, I just asked Jamie also, how did he play? And he said it was a little bit
last
timid,
week.
Eh?
Timmy just said, Jamie.
Yeah, and that can't be good, because he needs to play his own game.
Why did Bert van Marwijk hang him out to dry in the manner he did?
Look, I already explained a couple of times.
Yeah, well, we weren't all watching then.
It happened already a couple of times that he made tackles, unnecessary tackles, that gave him maybe a red card or yellow card. And Van Marwijk said, look, you have to ban this. You know, in Holland you can't, and in Europe you cannot make these tackles. Previously, what we said with Gary Neville, you can do it here, but not in Europe. He gets punished a couple of times before that, and Van Marwijk said, now it's over. But I must also admit, I think it was also a reason to get Van der Vaart playing in midfield with Van Bommel instead of De Jong, because there's this discussions about 2 defensive mid players is too much in midfield. So therefore, it gave him a reason. And he has been the victim for that. I hope he still comes back, because I think still De Jong, we need a player like him. And I hope he's not affected by anything what happened. So I hope that this game he will forget about it, and he will just get his own game, old-fashioned game, be tackling, nicking balls from the opposition, and make sure that you are a boss in the midfield.
Well, maybe you should play with that elastic band on, James.
This elastic band is very good, by the way, you know that?
Is it?
Yeah, if you want to do muscles, especially on the outside, because you see, you put your legs outside, it gives some strength on the outside. But
fires up the muscles.
Yes, the only thing is to do it in a warming up. It's a little strange. You do it midweek, you can do exercises with that thing, and it's a very good thing.
What do we expect from City today? The suffocation Guy Havel was talking about, or do they have to do more than that?
I mean, it's interesting, obviously, Richard, because their preferred system in big games is to be a 4-5-1. They did it well against Chelsea when they won here, and they were very competitive in the midfield, as Ruud was saying. De Jong, Yaya Toure and Barry really did influence the game. And after Adebayor's hat-trick, I bet you thought, well, my old team, I might play today, but I don't think it's going to change. Mancini has that preferred system. This is in the big games, like Manchester United, like Arsenal, like Liverpool over the last few years, have played with that 5 in midfield. Very difficult to play against. You win the ball, and then you can also play on the counter-attack. They've got Tevez, who's the form man in the Premier League at the moment. He's got 7 in the last 12 games for Manchester City. He is the man they're going to have to stop. Tevez is devastating at the moment.
It's an emotional day, this, for Manchester City, because this is the day they also mark the passing of Malcolm Allison, who died 10 days ago. An iconic figure in these parts after what he contributed in the 60s. Thoughts in the Garden of Remembrance earlier, and also tributes.
We've come here today to remember Malcolm before God and to give thanks for his life, recalling his life and his time here at Manchester City.
The terms great or legend are often overused in football, but I think few will argue they're not applicable when it comes to Malcolm Allison.
Now, you said earlier that he was years ahead of his time, and he obviously was, because he said we were going to terrify Europe, and now, 40 years later, we are.
Well, he'd be listening now, he'd be looking down on us now, and he'd be pleased, you know. I mean, I remember him as a person who gave me so much, on and off the field. We had a great rapport off the pitch.
All of a sudden, at 30 years of age, he gave a West Country bricklayer a chance to be a top footballer. And that's, you know, that's what the big man was about. The big man was about giving people chances in life. And he's certainly done that for me.
Master of Ceremonies, Fred Eyre, the novelist. That's a nice line, actually, isn't it? Ahead of his time. 40 years on, City are terrorising Europe.
They are. I think they're terrorising everybody involved in football now, aren't they? Some guy, though, I mean, I spoke to my dad about him today because he looks such a larger-than-life character, as everybody's been saying, and I think we told me a story about Bobby Moore and how it almost changed his career. In those days, they used to have to go down a couple of days a week. Players at West Ham used to go down to local schools and train the kids. And there was a young guy called Bobby Moore, I think he was 16 at the time. And West Ham weren't actually going to take him on. But Malcolm Allison said, no, we've got to take this guy on. I'm telling you, he will be a star. He's a real player. And then West Ham listened to him because he had such a great authority when he spoke. And the rest is history. Bobby Moore's gone on, obviously, to lift the World Cup for us. It probably wouldn't have happened if it hadn't been for Malcolm Allison.
Second spell here obviously wasn't as successful for Malcolm Allison, but in partnership with Joe Mercer, the two of them there, they delivered everything, not least the title back in 1968, of course. And that's the immediate target for Manchester City now. If you're watching in 3D today, our commentators Alan McAnally and Tony Jones. For the rest of us, it's Andy Gray and Martin Tyler.
Thank you, Richard. Afternoon, everyone. Quick run through the teams for you. Joe Hart, now very much installed in goal, and James Milner and David Silva will be floating around and supporting the skipper, Carlos Tevez. So, as you've heard, no place in the 11 for Emmanuel Adebayor. He's on the bench, as is Mario Balotelli, whose only City appearance since his summer switch from Inter produced a goal and then a knee injury, which has kept him out for a couple of months.
Well, I guess in many ways, Martin, today that the two centre-back partnerships will have some people watching them, people talking about a weakness being there. Young Dedrick Boyata here picked to play in the centre of defence alongside Vincent Kompany. Some people might say that's a gamble, 19-year-old in a big game like this, but they're confident enough with him. Ahead of that, a couple of things to look for. We certainly believe that Silva won't be restricted to this left-hand side of the pitch, that he, between Milner and himself, will be given licence to wander, very much as he did when he came on as a substitute against Blackpool. Pretty much changed the game when he came on, and he played from a more central area. It does leave them a little bit bare on the left side, but Gareth Barry, I think, will have to just keep an eye on that. Doesn't like playing there, he could, but he'll just sort of play in that sort of area. If Silva's got caught, he'll just come and shut things off. And it may be because of that early on, certainly when don't have the ball, that we only see Yaya Toure come from that central area to support the attack quickly and often.
Well, moving on to Arsenal. And alongside Sami Nasri and Marouane Chamakh, Andre Arshavin starts. Theo Walcott is held in waiting after his recovery from that ankle injury playing for England in Switzerland. Defender Laurent Koscielny is also available again after a back problem.
Well, City will be hoping their front three aren't as quick as they were just through the screen there. Otherwise they will take some catching. But it's a pretty familiar looking, and it's almost at times, Martin, it's almost a 4-1-4-1, and they do get like that a lot. And if they're going to restrict anyone, it normally is Alex Song. But don't be surprised at times if Song does get forward. He does like to get forward. If he does, there's always one of the other two just slip in there and just take his place there. But it's still a side that if it's on its form, if it gets the ball and keeps it, it can cause any team anywhere loads of problems.
With us. We'll talk in a moment. It's nearly finished at Anfield, where Liverpool are leading against Blackburn 2-1. Here, Arsenal 1-up, and that doesn't begin to tell the story. But it doesn't take Liverpool out of the bottom three. We've seen a variety and all sorts this afternoon here, sending off inside the first 4 minutes. Did Mark Clattenburg have any choice?
Oh yeah, he always had a choice because you still have a goalkeeper. Wasn't, and he knew it already. You know, for a coach. If you see Boateng,
Can't stand up like that, can you? You can't do that.
He's ball watching.
Yeah.
He's looking only at Nasri while Bender is behind him. He should have been, you know, looking already behind him to see where he is.
We tend only to talk about referees when they are in the spotlight for making decisions that have been disagreed with. What about Mark Clattenburg today? Big decision to make early on. Allowing the game to go there when he could very easily have. I mean, Andy mentioned it in commentary. There was an offside in there.
I think he
let play go. Arsenal score and get the advantage.
Difficult game for Mark because, as we mentioned, it was all. I felt you could sense that the game was on the edge all the time. There were tackles by Arsenal players. Thankfully, and I think Arsene Wenger must have said to his guys at half-time, "Listen, no more tackles. Let's just stay on our feet," because they were waiting. The fans wanted another yellow card. I think Song had been booked, Fabregas,
and we remember him taking charge of a fairly lively Merseyside derby, which
he didn't do as well that day. But today, I think you have to give him credit. You know, the penalty was right, the sending off. I don't think there's anything.
He handled it right. You know, sometimes he's under pressure, especially away, to give a penalty like this in 4 minutes.
Mancini might not agree, but
when you give someone a red card,
probably
but it is.
Let's find out. Here he is with Guy Havard.
Roberto, no doubt about the big moment of the afternoon. What was your view on the sending off?
I think that was decisive in this game, because I think that against Arsenal is the worst moment to remain in 10 men. But I am very proud of my player because I think that they played very well. We stayed on the game until the second goal, 68 minutes, I think. We tried always to score, we try always to play. This is very important. I think that after today, we must say that we are one of the best teams in Barclays Premier League.
Man City are one of the best teams. You feel better about your team now after what happened this afternoon?
I think that 11 against 11, we won this game. For this, I think that my feeling is good. Okay, I'm disappointed for the loss, but it can happen. 11 against 10 against Arsenal. But I think that after today, I think this.
Was it definitely a sending off? You agree with that?
I don't know, because against Newcastle, maybe it changed the rule. Against Newcastle, we had one penalty on Carlos, the last man, and the referee got a yellow card. I don't know, from the bench it's difficult to say this, but if exists one rules, it exists always.
You mentioned Carlos Tevez. He came off early in the second half. Is it going to be a bad injury?
I don't think bad injury, but it was he didn't run in second half. He took a knock in his muscle. Okay.
Your team have shown us today that not only are they an expensive team, a talented team, but they have a big heart collectively.
Yes, I think so. For this, I think that also after this game, I think that we are improved a lot. I think that we are a strong team. And okay, now it's past. We start next Sunday against Wolverhampton.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Last word tonight at 6:30 when Andy Gray rejoins. Stoke and United on the way. First of all, Arsene Wenger with Guy Havard.
Arsene, it's a magnificent result for Arsenal. Is it difficult, though, to assess the performance when you're playing against 10 men for so much of the game?
It is always difficult, yes, of course, because it gave us an advantage. But we have shown intelligence, calm in important situations, and we took slowly over and managed to win the game. You know, we played as well sometimes with 10 against 11 and won games. And we have as well played 11 against 10 and didn't win. So today, it was the result was above us, very important for us to come to win a big game.
Was the concern for you in the first half, even when you were 1-0 up, that you might lose a player yourself?
Yeah, that was a danger because it became suddenly a bit electric, and we were on a few yellow cards, and that was the danger. So we had to calm down and focus and play in a positive way in the second half. We did that quite well.
How big a role was Lucas Fabianski's today in winning the game?
It was important because I think first of all he did everything right. The first chance was for them. He saved it in the first minute, and after you cannot fault him on anything.
Up into second in the table, it's been a good start despite everything, hasn't it?
Yes, when you look at the points we dropped, and sometimes we had a bad luck today, makes maybe a little bit up for it, but we have a good collective way to play, we have a great attitude, great spirit, and so we have a good basis to do well.
We spoke beforehand about the psychology of winning at a big club like this, Manchester City. Just reiterate what that will do for you.
Well, it's always a little burden you have on your shoulder as long as you don't do it, because everybody reminds you your record, and so it's important once you get off with it, it's easier.
Now, you've got the Carling Cup next week against Newcastle. In previous years, probably none of these players would be playing a few days later in the Carling Cup. Will many of them be in action next week?
We'll check tomorrow the injuries, but a few will play, yes. We will play with a good team.
It's a team that will be strong.
Yes, some players need games, and we want as well to give ourselves a good chance to qualify, so we'll play with a strong team.
Well done today.
Thank you very much.
Got that live Wednesday, Arsenal's next Carling Cup match. To the Britannia then, Stoke and Manchester United, commentators Alan Smith and Alan Parry.
Berbatov turns it beautifully into the back of Nani.
He's gone in strong and he's gone in hard. I think that's fair.
Alex, be honest, do you think you'd let it slip again?
Yeah, you must say that, but you know, the quality this club's had for many, many years now, they never give in. And actually we started to play after the loss of goal. That's I thought for the first time really in the match we started to really play what we know we can, because it is difficult here. It is very, very difficult. You really work hard to get the ball down the ground, and they compete for everything, and a very difficult game for us. But you know, we've won it, and it's a great result.
Had you done the tough part, you'd survived the physical battle, you almost looked as though you were a little bit too comfortable, perhaps a bit too complacent at the second half?
We did get that. When we got with possession, we got a wee bit sort of a careless with it, well, Paul gave away the ball for the equalising goal. But after that, we managed to up our game a bit, just enough to get us through.
Has anyone had a better week than him, would you say? Turned out all right,
Great
didn't it?
week, isn't it? Yeah, brilliant. I mean, to get Wayne Rooney signed up, and there was obviously all eyes were on Manchester United today. Great result for Arsenal, and a massive day for Liverpool as well. Fernando Torres, just what he needed. So some big names have had a good day.
A lot of people have been talking about City and obviously Chelsea, their top. Less and less Arsenal as regards a challenge. Have they answered a few critics today as well?
I think so. Of course, you know, you will never know what would happen when they were 11 against 11, because Manchester City's played very well. But it was a great victory for them. I think also, if I hear also Fabregas, he doesn't want to talk about so much being in that favourite role. He wants the other ones, you know, to talk about winning the championship, and then they maybe sneak in. That's what they hope to do. But you know, overall, it was also a good weekend for Chelsea. You know,
very much so. Yes.
Yes. So therefore, they stay 5 points ahead. So that's good.
Yeah, and Fabregas also said they'd have beaten 15 if City had had them.
Okay.
Not quite so sure about that many numbers.
Yes.
Ruud, thanks again. Jamie,
You're
thanks
welcome.
very much indeed. We've got the last word on the way. Remember, that is up next at 6:30. Also tonight, Sevilla and Athletic Bilbao. We've got the second half of that from 7 o'clock on HD1. Barca and Real Madrid, incidentally, both winning yesterday. Real again with plenty of goals. And it's Villarreal against Atletico Madrid from 8. That is also on HD1. Difficult week for Sir Alex Ferguson in many ways. Started badly, ended very well, and Arsene Wenger's enjoyed his weekend as well.
It was a big game for us, and we've dropped enough points to make us realise we have to get the show on the road now.
That could have been one of those bizarre goals. It's a good header across, and it's a goal!
It is Man United, and they know how to punish you on moments they need to punish you. We expect every year always more of Arsenal. There's a new kid on the block, so therefore we're going to see if they really want it this year.
Well, that's a decision, and it is red. Xavi. Back to Nasri, they're through, they score. Fabregas, and Hart saves it wonderfully. And it's buried by Alex Song. Here's Bednar, and he scores.
They were really impressive today, I felt. It's not easy against 10 men.